pardon, introduce you to the company Green Environment, so that what we have been doing in the last say almost 10 years of the history of the company. And I'm going to use this opportunity to also tell you that how the internationalization of the company was done from Finland to Middle European markets. So as Nina already stated, we are a listed company in Frankfurt Stock Exchange, first quotation board to be exact. And my lawyers have always asked me to show this disclaimer to you, as we are on a speculative markets, but that's about it. Now it's done. What Green Environment really is that we are a distributed energy technology provider, i.e. we provide CHP power plants, combined heat and power plants, based on microturbine solutions. And these plants run on gaseous fuels like natural gas, biogas, and lately also associated gas from oil wells. The power range what we are supporting is basically from as low as 30 kilowatts of electricity up to about 4 megawatts. These also being the sizes that where we really have done projects so far. We also have our own joint ventures together with the local utilities. Germans call them Stadtwerke here in Germany, and there we are also having an access to the build, own and operative concept. I will tell you later about that one. As stated, we were established 2002 in Finland. I personally moved 2007 in Berlin, and since that we have been growing quite fast, so that we have now total installed capacity already more than 11 megawatts. Something about the recent development, so that in the last 3 months we've been able to close deals for more than 7 megawatts, as I remember right. So the growth really is there. But let's go further. So I'm dividing this presentation basically into 2 sections. So the first, I'm telling you that how we got here, so that what is sort of path to the present day, and then on the other hand, so that what is the future, that how we see it and how the market is developing from here now on. Europe in the year 2004 with our eyes, so that how did it look like? We were basically based in Finland that time, in the city of Lahti, and the market in Finland was not at all well developing, as the local authorities overall in Finland were not willing, or they were not able to establish possible feed-in tariffs or support mechanisms. I see that there's a word missing, but let's not bother with that one. We were nevertheless able to provide some projects, but those were not enough for making the real business, and then we just continued developing the technology, and we were thinking that okay, we have to go European wide, or take another foothold in another European country. So here you can see on a lighter green those markets that we were studying those times. And Sweden naturally is a sort of natural way of expansion for a Finnish company to go abroad. We are like almost sharing the home markets in that sense, that in Finland there's also Swedish spoken language, and this way it was a natural step, but we didn't find it suitable for us, mostly because of the fact that the Sweden at that time was supporting and still is supporting biogas only on traffic fuels. We also evaluated UK, and that is Europe's biggest biogas market, but it's only because of the landfill sites being so vast there, and that really didn't fit to us either. Then we had a look on Spain, Portugal, and then also Italy. So these countries are of course interesting markets for biogas, basically because of the long growth season and all the vegetable production they have and this kind of stuff. But there was quite a lot of uncertainty about those supporting mechanisms that they have in those countries. So we didn't choose those either. Hungary was also an interesting market to be evaluated, because basically it's a little bit like combination of those Iberian Peninsula, Italian markets, and the UK market, in that sense that there's both landfill sites and there's also good biogas potential there. And they also have natural gas, i.e. the sort of local or natural way of proceeding with the business was there. Then Poland, naturally, being also one of the Baltic sort of sea states, we were thinking that it could be a market for us, but really that time it was not even that developed that it is nowadays, where they have now the first biogas projects and so we couldn't see that as a place then, but we naturally were marking that up so that okay, we might want to go there one day. The last but not least, Germany, that time and also today is by far the biggest biogas market in Europe, and that is due to the very strong agricultural biogas development. So this is basically something that we were thinking that we could then use as a market. Germany is also a forerunner in new technologies and in green thinking, and that's why it was a sort of natural way for us to come here and start developing the business from Germany. So what we did was that basically we had a closer look on Germany, and that time we were thinking that there are basically two cities that we could choose upon, so that it was either to go south, i.e. to Munich, which can be regarded as a capital of small-scale biogas plants, and thus it was able to provide us some additional resources and also the local market there. That time our products were a lot smaller than they are nowadays, so basically the maximum capacity of a biogas power plant those times was, say, 300 kilowatts perhaps, and this way it would have been a good solution. However, the Munich is not something that you can regard as a very international climate that you have there. It is really Bavarian capital, and it is quite strongly related to its own very strong economical status, or at least this is the impression that we got. Then on the other hand, Berlin, which is the capital of Germany, and thus we were thinking that this is an appealing place for the future, highly international and becoming more and more international all the time. We were a little bit lucky in that sense that we were able to find a good team here, and we were thinking that it is also possible to lure more young professionals to the company that is located in Berlin. And remembering what I told you about the Polish market in the beginning, we were thinking that this is really something that where we could then base also our future development for towards east as well. So Berlin was chosen as a location here in Germany. Now, what we had at a product that time, here's a picture of a C65 turbine. We were thinking that this is a really good product. So it has all these positive features that I'm listing out down here, so that it has a better availability than the engines have. It can follow the changes of the gas production in also quantitative and qualitative measures much better than the engine can. It has a low need of maintenance, and it has less emissions, and so on, so on, so on. It only had a couple of negative features. First one being so that none of the features that I'm listing here above have been market proven in Germany, i.e. there's no installations here in Germany, even though that there are installations in Austria or in Switzerland and in France, but none in Germany on this field. And then it had a little bit less electrical efficiency than the engines do. So what turned out was that all the customers were first really saying that this is a great thing, let's have it, and this looks like something that we really are all eager to have as a product, to have as a solution for their biogas CHP needs. But as they learned out that there's no other installations in Germany, they decided not to go for it. So what we had to do, we had to change our strategy a bit. So what we did was that we decided to do a BOO concept instead of normal sales. BOO means build, own and operate. And what we did was that we made 2 demo plants in Germany. They were both 130 kilowatts, i.e. they both were having 2 C65 kilowatt turbines. And these were done in Finland and then they were transferred to Germany. And they were awful cases. The first plant on the first night burned, basically. So it was well, not burnt like really down to the earth, but there was a small fire in the roof of the plant. Even though that we were saying that we cannot use any wood material to our subcontractors, but they still used some. So of course it started to burn, and then the plant number 2 was working also a little bit better, but it was not a great success either. So that we really had some difficulties there. It was a hard process for us to learn the quality needs and the sort of mechanisms of the business here in Germany.